What is going on, you guys? It's your girl Diana, back at you with another YouTube video. Now, you guys know me, I'm not usually one to report on leaks, but it looks like a couple of these leaks have the entire community talking because people literally wrote articles about them. So let's go ahead and hop into it. So I literally was not joking when I said that people are writing articles on these leaks, because I'm on Gamerant's website and they have a whole article titled Pokemon Scarlet and Violet's Indigo Disc DLC leaks paint a bleak picture for completionists. And I actually saw where all of this stemmed from on Twitter yesterday, and I was honestly a little lost and confused as to why people were upset. But this all kind of boils down to how we're supposed to get the new Paradox legendaries, because apparently people were under the impression that they would be able to get these things like right away. But let's go ahead and hop into the article and see what Gamerant has to say, and then of course I will interject my opinion in between paragraphs. So Pokemon Scarlet and Violet has released its first DLC, the Teal Mask. One more DLC, the Indigo Disc, is scheduled to release on December 14th, 2023, which we love that they are actually releasing it on time. It will feature players traveling as exchange students to Blueberry Academy, where they will encounter new characters, over 100 returning Pokemon, and new Paradox and legendary Pokemon. However, current leaks regarding the Indigo Disc have raised potential concerns among completion-minded Pokemon Scarlet and Violet players, as the DLC may feature multiple time-gated content releases, which once again, I'm not really sure why people were under the impression that they were going to be able to get like the new Paradox legendaries right off the bat, because the other two weren't like that. But let's continue. Maybe the article will give me a little bit more insight. The Indigo Disc new Pokemon may be released over time. So leaks currently indicate that 8 new Pokemon will debut as part of the Indigo Disc. Some of these are actually confirmed because the Pokemon company themselves confirmed them and they're literally on the website, but semantics. These include Archelodon, an evolution for Duraludon, Paradox forms of Raikou and Cobalion, and the legendary Pokemon Terapagos. Rumors also suggest that Diplin, an Applin evolution introduced in the Teal Mask, may receive a final evolution, which yes, that's a big rumor right now that everybody is hoping for. There may also be a new Pokemon connected to the Teal Mask Loyal 3, possibly themed after Momotaro or Peach Boy from the Japanese folklore. And so they do provide a list of the actual confirmed Pokemon and the rumored Pokemon. So like I mentioned, some of these are actually confirmed by the actual Pokemon company themselves on the website. So the Archelodon, Raging Bolt, Iron Crown, and of course Terapagos. And then the rumored ones, the ones that are not confirmed, they're just like data mined or speculation, are an evolution for Diplin, Paradox Entei, which would make sense to complete the trio, Paradox Terrakion, and then the quote-unquote Peach Pokemon, which is possibly going to be like the mythical for the DLC. But they then go on to say, however, known Pokemon leaker Riddler Koo, not Riddler Koo, okay, claimed that only 3 of these 8 Pokemon will be available when the DLC launches. Which 3 is unknown, although the officially confirmed Archelodon and Paradox forms seem likely. Terapagos, as the face of the Indigo Disc, could also be made available immediately, although it is possible that Nintendo will make fans wait for this powerful legendary Pokemon. In my personal opinion, I feel like they would go more the route that they did with the Loyal 3 and Ogerpon and make it part of the playthrough story, and then at the end you get the chance to catch Terapagos. So I don't think you're gonna get it immediately like you did with Miraidon and Koraidon, because the only reason you got them at the beginning is because they were your ride Pokemon. And they weren't even playable Pokemon. You quite literally used them like a bike and you had to earn their powers. So logically speaking, they've never really just given us a legendary right off the bat. So I don't think they're gonna make us wait. I don't think it's gonna be an event Pokemon, but I definitely see it being a playthrough Pokemon. But while Riddler Koo definitely indicated that time release would be utilized, they did not confirm exactly how the new Pokemon would be distributed. There are a few different ways Scarlet and Violet could approach it. I think technically on the Pokemon website, it does quite literally say that Paradox Raikou and Paradox Cobalion are event-specific Pokemon, which they do go on to mention here, and they say via Terra Raid battles, the most likely method of distribution for the 5 Pokemon not available when the Indigo Disc launches is via Terra Raid battles. Since the release of Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, there have been many limited time Terra Raid events that allow teams of players to challenge and catch powerful Pokemon with unique Terra types. These raids have been used to introduce many Pokemon from previous generations not currently available in Scarlet and Violet, such as Hisuian Decidueye, Delphox, and Greninja. However, so far, no brand new Pokemon have been debuted in Terra Raids. The Indigo Disc may change that. That's incorrect, because both Walking Wake and Iron Leaves were both released via 5-star event Terra Raids. So technically, we have had new Pokemon introduced via Terra Raids. which I think is going to be the most likely distribution method for the other Paradox legendaries, just following suit with the 5-star event raids, which is nice because at least they're not 7-star raids, so at least they make them a little bit more accessible. The next method that they talk about is via events, and it says in the past, Pokemon has held many limited time events through which certain rare Pokemon, usually mythical Pokemon, have been distributed. The very first mythical Pokemon Mew was first handed out via lottery for being made available through special events in later generations. Events have included in-store distributions, pre-order bonuses, and movie tie-ins. The rumored Peach Pokemon is the most likely Indigo Disc Pokemon to be handed out via an event, due to its possible mythical status and connection to the teal mask. I mean, that would make sense. Like they said, most mythicals are distributed as like an actual event Pokemon, so like, yeah, valid. And then the last method that they talk about is via spin-off tie-ins, and it says the last possibility is that one or more Pokemon in the Indigo Disc will be released as a tie-in with one of Pokemon's ongoing spin-offs, such as Pokemon Go or Pokemon Sleep. It is even possible that a Pokemon may be distributed first in Pokemon Go and can only then be transferred or picked up in Scarlet and Violet, similar to Meltan and Melmetal. They kind of did that with Roaming Form Gimmighoul and Chess Form Gimmighoul, but I feel like this is still the least likely method for them to introduce a like larger scale Pokemon like a Paradox Legendary or even a Mythical. Maybe for like the less important ones like the evolution, that would make sense, but it's unknown how long it will take for all 8 new Pokemon to debut in the Indigo Disc, although it could be multiple months until they all arrive. This may leave Pokemon completionists feeling frustrated in their attempts to catch them all in Generation 9, possibly for quite a long time. I mean, I feel like they will not take that long just because, for example, when the first round of Paradox raids came out, they literally announced them during like the Pokemon Presents, and they were live right after the Presents was done. So I feel like if they are going to do an event for the new Paradox legendaries, it will probably happen pretty early on. I mean, even when the game first released, these 7-star Charizard raids went live like within a couple of weeks of the game releasing, with people literally like sprinting to finish the game so that they could participate in the 7-star raids. So I feel like they've never really like held out on like the big event Pokemon. But yeah, personally, I don't really know what gave people the impression that they were going to be able to get all of these Pokemon like right off the bat, just because they've never really done that. The only Pokemon that we ever did get right off the bat was our ride Pokemon, and they weren't even actual playable Pokemon, and you had to earn your way to more powers with them. So they were just like a glorified bike when you first got them. But I know a lot of people were kind of upset finding out that they were going to have to wait for like timed event releases for a lot of these Pokemon, which is valid. I mean, we've had to wait this long for a DLC. It's literally been like a year since the game came out, and we're just barely going to get part 2 of the DLC. So I can understand why there would be frustration that you're not going to be able to get everything all at once. However, I feel like this way it also gives you time to like explore the DLC more and not just like burn through it in a day to just get whatever Pokemon you want and then be done. But that's just my personal opinion, so feel free to leave yours down below in the comments. But that's gonna go ahead and wrap it up for today's video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed, and if you did, I kindly suggest you consider subscribing so that I can continue to make content for you guys. And if you were already subscribed and you'd like another way to support the channel, feel free to check out the merch store. There is a link down below in the description that takes you to not only my merch store, but also all of my other socials so you can keep up with what I'm doing on a daily basis. But thank you guys so much for watching, and thank you to those of you who have joined the channel as members. I appreciate you all so much. I love you guys, and I will see you in the next video. Bye guys.